The amount of suffering and satisfaction we experience on daily basis is completely dependent on our current state of consciousness, which we can heal, transform, and evolve at any time. True freedom and lasting happiness are realized through the internal transcendence of limiting themes of consciousness. Not understanding this powerful truth has caused the vast majority of us to tirelessly strive to attain happiness externally. Whether it's through seeking accolades such as accumulating wealth, taking exotic trips, becoming famous, earning titles and ranks within our careers, or fantasizing about the ideal relationship, all searches ultimately stem from the root desire to be loved, happy, and free. And while success, relationship, and achievements can absolutely be fulfilling experiences for the soul, in and of themselves, they do not have the power to give us our desired joy. Hence, we have reports of many wealthy and famous figures throughout history publicly sharing the realization that even at the top, loneliness and sadness prevail, as there is still a missing piece to the puzzle. Happiness does not come from the consumption of things. The roller coaster of pleasure and pain, the high of achieving goals and the come down when the elation passes, can cause our inner pendulum to swing in the opposite direction in rebellion or disappointment with life. Thus, the idea of escaping the system can become just as enticing as the desire to conquer it. Attachment to detachment, non participation, and the fantasy of getting out of the rat race are just the other side of the same coin. It's all part of the quest to acquire the happiness and freedom we know we deserve. The truth is, it doesn't matter which side of the pendulum we are on. All attachment and all aversions keep us focused outside of ourselves. Happiness is not something that can be attained through ideal conditions nor the escaping of obligations, but rather happiness is something that we become through the transformation of our consciousness. The desire to get someplace else will only keep us stuck in a perpetual cycle of wanting happiness rather than actualizing it within. The chase. The illusion is that the closer we move toward our goals and aspirations, regardless of what they are, the closer we feel we will be on the horizon of our freedom and joy. The definition of a horizon, however, is the limit of perception. There is no actual line at the edge of the earth for the sun to set behind, just as there is no actual milestone, experience, place, or person which can give us our happiness. No matter the speed which we pursue the horizons of our wanting, the horizon will continue to move further away. Because when we do successfully acquire the object of our desires, we are ultimately still left to face the mundane frustrations of everyday life. Circumstances inevitably change, people let us down, obligations arise, challenges surface, and life doesn't always go the way we planned. We innocently believe that when we arrive at happiness, we will finally be able to escape the daily struggles. But without actually healing the root of our dissatisfaction with life and evolving our consciousness, our problems will only continue to resurface again in new forms, no matter where we go or what we do. This fragile mentality mistakes happiness, freedom, inner peace, and love as things that can be given or taken away from us in any instant. When someone says something we don't like, inner peace is replaced with worry or defensiveness. If someone falls short of our expectations, joy is replaced with disappointment. If obligations arise, we are filled with resistance. If someone interrupts us, we're triggered with impatience. The result of this externally focused perspective is that we have allowed circumstances and other people to bestow good or bad emotions upon us, wrongly crediting them as the givers or thieves of our joy. However, both favorable and unfavorable emotions are neither the result of conditions or other people's actions, they are the direct result of which stream of consciousness we are living in. Introduction to the themes of consciousness. Scientific discovery has now revealed that everything in our universe, including human thoughts and emotions, is composed of vibrating energy, each unique and varying in calibration of frequency. Themes of consciousness are a reflection of these varying frequencies, which are universal to humanity and represent the overall quality of experience each of us is having from our vantage point. We can think of themes of consciousness as lenses which we view reality. Thus, the frequency we are in, or theme of consciousness our soul is occupying, dictates our levels of suffering, pain, joy, love, peace, and overall level of satisfaction in everyday life. In the second half of this book, we will be exploring in detail how each theme manifests, how to identify the patterns we may find ourselves stuck in, how to transcend them, and how to consciously transition into the liberating themes of love, inner peace, true freedom, and lasting happiness forevermore. For now, we want to begin to simply build awareness and familiarity with the themes by showing their variations and progression, as we will be referring to them throughout our journey together. Themes of consciousness: true freedom and lasting happiness, love and inner peace, transitioning into spiritual reality, reason and understanding, acceptance, willingness, neutrality, courage, transitioning into self honesty, pride, anger, desire, fear, grief, hopelessness, guilt, and judgment, shame. The first thing to know that when looking at the themes of consciousness is that shame represents the most cut off from our true self, whereas true freedom and lasting happiness represent the most unified and self realized. But another way, shame represents the most lacking, suffering field and painful frequency we could live in, while the theme of true freedom and lasting happiness represent the release of all suffering, making it the most joyful and liberating frequencies we could embody. Therefore, we could think of the themes of consciousness as an evolution of lovingness and reflective of degrees of happiness and inner freedom. Process of awakening. This is the inner work, the removing of all obstacles which stand in the way of our rightful inner peace, freedom, and joy. And luckily, the only obstacle we encounter along the journey is ourselves. It is all within our own control to evolve the consciousness and to transcend our limiting programs. It's only a question of willingness to surrender and receive the goodness that is innately a part of us. Everything we are seeking outside of ourselves is actually already resting in the palms of our own hands. All resistance to accepting and enjoying deep happiness and fulfillment in our lives is ultimately stemming from a limited theme of consciousness, a theme that we innocently inherited at some point along the journey, in repeated beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and finally in our words and actions. This limited version of our potential becomes our sense of who we are. We then eventually find ourselves stuck in a groove, a pattern of life that we begin to accept as just the way things are. Luckily, it is completely possible to realign every aspect of our lives back to infinite peace. It is only a matter of looking within ourselves and becoming self aware. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside wakes.